5 Senate seats. They got 1 to go. Just how much closer?
Oh man, what a night.
So, could you come in a little bit? Thanks. How do you guys like how things went tonight with your campaigns?
Well, 2 of us like it real well.
Yeah, you're a little in the air. Is there anything you guys would have done differently during your campaigons
I would have found someone to run against me so I could have, been a little bit more active. No,
I wouldn't do anything different.
No,
I don't think I would have done anything different. It'd be interesting to slice and dice this information, see what went where, where the independents went, where the Republicans and the Democrats went. So.
Do they? I've never ran for office. Do they ever give you that demographic information after the election?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what we can slice and dice it.
Oh, okay. I understand. That's cool. So how do you feel, we heard you guys talking earlier, the national election, how do you feel about that?
Well, from my point of view, it's gone the right direction. I think the American public has really given the president and the Bush administration a referendum, and it's not a good one.
Yeah.
You're telling them we don't like the war, we don't like your policies, and this is a massive loss for the Republicans and a huge gain for the Democrats. Now, what we're also seeing, though, I think, is moderate Democrats winning this thing. If you look at these individual elections, these aren't your typical Democrats. These are conservative Democrats.
You got Bob Casey in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So the party is not what you might think that's coming in, but at the same time, they're going to come in and they're going to want some resolution on the war.
Do you think they're going to be effective at all, given that the leadership is actually on the far left?
I don't know if the leadership,
I wouldn't say it's on the far left.
Well, I mean, but
Pelosi has been criticized in her own district for being too conservative in San Francisco.
Well, San Francisco.
Yeah, it is San Francisco, but she almost lost the last 2 elections there because of it. I don't think she's going to be as far left as people think.
When people talk about San Francisco values, in fact, I was talking to one of my friends who lives in San Francisco, and they were really kind of shocked, but they're talking about what do they mean, They have kids, their kids go to school, they go to church, they take care of their neighborhood. We're not sure what San Francisco values are being,
What exactly is that?
Yeah, what exactly does that mean?
I think the perception is not necessarily the reality down there. Well, they are more liberal, let's face it, they are to a degree.
I read an editorial tonight about how the Democrats got elected tonight because they were sick of the Republicans, and basically they were the only other game in town, and that's basically why they came swept into power today. So the point of the editorial was that, well, yes, they're in power, congratulations, but now they need to earn that. Do you guys agree with that?
I think any office holder has to earn the respect once they're in office. They have to produce. In D.C., you still have a Republican administration, even if Congress is Democratic. Democrats have to responsibly have oversight committees. They have to do what Congress is supposed to do the legislative role of our government. If they do that and do it well, voters will appreciate it, and the incumbents will get the support in the next election.
Okay, so what are we going to expect? I'm sorry.
Let me finish that, too. I agree with what you said, but to have an incumbent lose an election, you have to convince people who have previously voted for that person that they were wrong and change their vote. That is a huge uphill battle. To have done that indicates to me that there's more than just, we don't like you anymore. It's something more than that. We want to go a different direction. But you're right about this. If the Democrats the next 2 years, just as Republicans didn't do in '94 and didn't do in 1948, you want to go back that far, if you get swept into something like this and you don't do the job they expect you to do, you're going to be back out again in 2 years. And that's exactly what happened, in '48 and '94. These are off-year elections that you always expect a gain from the alternative party. In the off-term elections, you don't expect majorities to change. And this has only happened a few times. But if you don't do it, 2 years later, you're back out again. So there's a real challenge for the Democrats at the national level to do the job they're supposed to do. And the biggest job they have in their hands is getting out of a quagmire in Iraq, and that's going to be tough. That's going to be really tough. That war is still raging on in 2 years. They're in trouble.
What do you hope to expect from this new Congress in the next 2 years?
I hope to expect, number one, on environmental issues, they start taking care of the environment again, stop the plundering of our natural resources. Number two, I hope they step up and really start talking seriously about an exit policy for Iraq, and that when the next election comes in 2 years, that we're out of Iraq. Win, lose, or draw. I'm a Vietnam veteran, was over there during the war. We basically declared victory and left, and we may have to do the same thing in Iraq.
And we were in a no-win situation.
Absolutely.
Senator.
We're in a no-win. We're in the middle of a civil war again.
Right, exactly. I was there in 69, 70. And,
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're
And
talking
to
about.
get out. The politicians had screwed up. Okay.
So to ask a little bit more of a fun question, I could say, or call it a farcical question. You mentioned the environment, Senator. Do you think, being that Republicans have the reputation of not supporting the environmental issues as far as the environmental parties are concerned, do you think they have their own private air supply and water supply?
How did you know?
Oh my gosh, the secret's out!
Do you follow along the lines of Captain Planet, where you got, corporations just...
I hope I'm not that paranoid. This particular administration has done this. You go back to the Reagan administration, okay, they wanted to make some change in environmental policy, and they made some subtle but significant changes. But at the same time, they weren't out there plundering. They really tried to protect the
Like the
environment.
Nixon administration, that Nixon administration had put forth the EPA. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely good point.
Yeah.
The Republicans aren't necessarily opposed to taking care of the environment. They just aren't. But this particular administration is an oil administration, and they have made a mess of things. Okay? I mean, this is not a typical Republican administration.
And this last question: do you think that being the new Democrats in power, how are the Democrats going to treat the new Republican minority? Do you think there'll be a spirit of bipartisanship, or do you think somewhat stick it to them being their first 2 years
Well, I
back
already
in office
have
after
a bump
12
in
years?
the back of my head.
Yeah.
Peter slapped me.
And that could be the Fed and the Oregon House
You
too.
know, Go ahead.
In Salem, I anticipate that we will treat our colleagues with respect, and I do not think we'll engage in that kind of payback. On the national level, who knows? It has been so bitter in D.C. for so long that I hope it doesn't go that way. In fact, I hope the Democratic Party actually takes advantage of the opportunity to really move things forward in a way that really just is fantastic for America.
Okay.
And I'll comment on that too. I think at the state level, we're going to make every effort that this is not payback time. This is a time to step up as Oregonians and do the right thing for the state and stop the partisanship. At the federal level, I'm a little concerned about that, but the reality of the federal level is if the House has gone Democrat, the Senate may or may not go Democrat. Even if it does go Democrat, we've got a Republican president.
Right.
There's not going to be any payback there. You start playing payback at that level, you get vetoed. So there's a check and a balance there automatically. And so I'm not sure there'll be a lot of that. But we'll wait and see.
Democrats also like to make things, we're process people. We like processes.
Type A personalities.
Well, I can only say that I worked well with these gentlemen anyway, so.
It's true, and we'll look forward to working with you again. If nothing personal, but if you win the election.
Well, I'm up to 300 and something now.
Oh, you have 300?
Yes,
Okay.
it's getting better.
Okay. Okay.
You gotta like that. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.